Yeah, and so Hank being Hank, when he catches Bobby in his bedroom, and Bobby's just holding a cheerleader outfit. That's what Hank says.
So I'm doing updates really quick. I know. Why don't we do this before the podcast?
Because we lead busy professional lives, Paul Goody.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. My Ubuntu needs to be upgraded.
It needs to be Ubuntu'd.
This version will stop receiving updates and security fixes in 231 days. So
a little less than a year to
a little less than a year.
Use that version or that machine.
I'm not going to do the upgrade. I'm going to do the upgrade though after the podcast is over.
All right.
I will do that. But I am doing the updates, which are going speedily. They should be done soon.
Our streaming audience is riveted at your updates. We have
now. Do we have a streaming audience?
We do not have a streaming audience. Well, okay. I mean, like I never know. Like YouTube tells me nobody's watching, but like
I do really wonder about the people that actually do want, because there are people that go through and they've seen us talking, and I always do wonder about those people.
You gotta wonder about them.
Like they most likely they look at it and they're like, well, I don't need to worry about that, and then they go on and look at something else. But I always wonder what their lives are like, what they're doing as they log in and they see a guy with a beard say to another guy with a slightly smaller beard, both wearing glasses, go, oh, it's at 99%, he says. Ooh, what's at 99%? I want to know. It was at 98%. I was about to say it's at 98%, but then it was at 99%. I got very
Sounds
excited.
Like it is happening.
Oh, it's up to date.
You know what I started doing, Paul, last night? I actually started to reserve lodging for the grand trip out. That means it's real. It's happening.
Oh no! I need to do my system. I need to restart my system.
It's happening.
You're doing.
I'm wondering. So there's going to be a Thursday where I am going to be on. There's going to be a number of Thursdays, so I'm going to be on the road. But I'm going to be on the road the Thursday right before we do our little filming venture. So here's my question to you: should we do that podcast on that Thursday where I'll be in a hotel room in Omaha, Nebraska? Or should we wait until we're actually in the same room and podcast in the same room together?
Boy, okay, so here's the thing. We've never podcasted, have we ever?
Once, for episode 1.
Yeah, I mean that is kind of interesting. I do like that idea, although I do also like the idea of you podcasting from Nebraska. That's also very interesting.
I'll also be podcasting from Austin, and there's another date in there.
Keep Austin weird, no problem. GudeLaurance is coming right over.
And I'm probably going to be in Eureka, California on our final podcast before the election.
Oh my gosh. Think about that. Wow. Now, Ben, I made a little joke there, but I do kind of wonder.
Eureka! That joke?
Like we know that I'm weird.
Oh.
Are you? Oh! I think we're gonna have to.
The weird keep.
We're gonna have to wait really quick, and
wait until you're up and running.
So and it's coming, GudeLaurance.
Oh, goody!
Hey, so this is episode 444.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Indeed it is.
And I just want to mention that you and I both had Fantastic Four t-shirts at one point in time.
I don't know what happened to mine.
I know what happened to mine.
I
got rid of it. because it was too ate up.
Did you not wear that shirt? No, you didn't wear that shirt because when we filmed when I was in St. Louis a number of years ago and we went to the City Museum and made a little video, you had actually ripped the shirt you were wearing. Was that
Yeah, that was the Tacoma shirt.
That was the Tacoma shirt. I knew it was a GudeLaurance connected shirt.
But the Fantastic Four shirt outlived its self.
The Fantastic Four shirt, Paul Goody, I don't know if people know this, you bought that shirt for me, and you also bought one for Sonia Walker.
Right, and this is what I'm saying. 444, 3 fours, 3 4 shirts. Also, Peter Spots, also known as Peter Crow, a musician, at one point in time, saw me wearing the Fantastic Four shirt and did one of my most favorite spontaneous jokes anyone's ever done. He pointed at it and said, "What's that for?"
Yep.
Which I liked a lot. So yes, it was funny because there were Fantastic Four shirts, but there were only 3 of us.
There's only 3 of us, yeah.
So have you've seen The Bear?
Yes.
And what is the name of the guy who plays Richie on The Bear?
Eben Moss Backrack.
He is, as we most likely know, playing Ben Grimm, also known as The Thing.
Yeah. We were talking about this recently, and we were wondering whether he was going to be complete CGI or realistic in some way.
And so, Ben, I ask you, Ben gonna guess the news, what photo recently showed up in relation to that question?
Oh, was it, I don't know this, but I'm going to guess, was it Eben Moss Backrack in a mocap suit?
It was Evan
Moss
Backrack?
Backrack, Bachrach.
Like Burt Bacharach?
I think Burt Bacharach has an extra A in there.
Well,
anyway,
it was him, and he was wearing. I think I'm clipping, by the way. I apologize. He was wearing. Spoilers for Fantastic Four, I guess. He was wearing what looked like prosthetic thing face.
A prosthetic thing face.
Like he had. They may be, CGIing it after the fact or whatever. But he was wearing a mask that, at least I think it was him. Could have been someone else because it was a mask. But
was it? Yeah. Could you only see his face?
No. There was also a Fantastic Four uniform that he was in. So yeah, exciting stuff.
I'm wondering.
It's everything's coming. I saw it today. It's 444. It's just a whole bunch of reasons.
I'm wondering if Hollywood CGI technology has gotten past the need for mocap suits. And he can just be on set wearing a prosthetic thing face, and then you have some sort of, let's call it intelligence of an artificial sort that can identify him on screen and replace him with a character.
Yeah, Ben, I'm wondering about this actually. And how is it? Is it nice to have a superhero that has your name as his first name?
Yeah, I'm also Spider-Man's dead uncle.
Oh yeah, that's right. I would like to see that. I would like to see that the Marvel Universe consolidated.
Uncle Ben Grimm.
Uncle Ben Grimm. Yeah. Gets shot by the guy, but doesn't hurt him.
With great power comes clobbering time.
That's very good. Okay, I have another Ben gonna guess the news. As you know, the treatment of members of the armed forces by the American public, not always the best. The VA hospital, for example, many times derided for, not doing all they can. Of course, being not necessarily their fault, being underfunded, et cetera, et cetera. Recently, there has been a news story that highlights people in the armed forces maybe not being treated as well as one might like in more ways than one. Ben, you're nodding already. You know what this story
I
is.
do know what this
Ben, gonna
story
guess the
is.
news. What's the deal?
Why our previous president, number 45, did what looked like a campaign stop in Arlington National Cemetery. He was asked there by some Gold Star families, but it is against federal law for a politician of either party to campaign in a national cemetery because they cannot get consent from all of the fallen soldiers. And so, they put out a TikTok that was kind of like a campaign video, but what you're talking about specifically, where the other disrespect comes from, is an employee of Arlington National Cemetery tried to stop them, and allegedly a member of the Trump team physically shoved this person out of the way. Now, this person refuses or has declined to press charges against the Trump campaign for fear of retribution from Trump fans, which I think tells you a lot about the state of American politics right now.
Yes. The other piece of information that I would add is that it was specifically not just the cemetery, but a section of the cemetery that has more recently
Yes.
fallen
Section
soldiers in it.
Section 60, I believe it's
Warfighters.
called. Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah.
It
Not great.
as
Not great.
as YouTube political commentator Chris Cillizza has said, Trump is a chaos agent, and chaos seems to follow him wherever he goes. And this visit to Arlington National Cemetery was no exception.
I am noticing that I have accidentally put a fog on my
Cool filter, bro.
little. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. I have my little cleaning cloth here. Let's see what happens when I do this. Anything? Oh, that is actually clear. Look at that. So yeah.
There was another. So Paul gonna guess the news.
Oh yeah, please. And this leads into something, so this will be good.
Vice presidential hopeful J.D. Vance gave a speech and was booed in front of what crowd?
I know this one. Boston firefighters.
Yeah, unionized Boston firefighters.
Ah, well, there you go. That's part of it.
Firefighters union. He was booed.
Yeah, the basic idea, from my understanding, is that the Republicans, at least in this this kind of cycle, are trying to do a thing where they say basically, "Hey, we are pro-worker, and one of the things that'll make you, the worker, stronger is to get out of your unions."
Yeah.
Which most union guys don't enjoy.
And it's a little the right to work phrase when you're talking about right to work states is probably intentionally misleading because it's also the right of the employer to underpay you.
Yes. So I have two things I was going to talk about. I'll talk about this one first. When Jennifer and I are looking for places, and I'll throw Betty in there too because she's also, along with us looking for places. It's weird, Ben. Betty's an adult now.
She
right?
is.
So we're talking about moving, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to figure out how, which of Betty's stuff we're gonna keep and my therapist reminded me, well, no, you don't get to decide which of her stuff she keeps and which she doesn't. This is,
yeah,
her decisions now, which is, true.
Or I mean, you could be a jerk. I know you're not going to do this, but you can be a jerk and say, as long as you live under my roof.
Well, I can't necessarily say. I mean, I can say that, but it's not legally binding. But what is if I'm the person paying for the move, I can decide not to pay for certain things to move. But then the other side is then I have to also deal with the fact that it's still in the house that I'm no longer renting, which,
Yeah.
you know. But so we've always been pretty cooperative, though. Famously, Betty used to be on this podcast and she liked it. And then she decided that she didn't want to be on this podcast anymore. And she stopped.
I would like
being on the
to.
podcast
I would like
prior to her turning 18.
Use this moment and say I totally called it when she
You did.
first started being on the podcast. I was like, there's going to come a point where she is too cool for school.
Yep, and that is happening. She is pretty cool, I have to admit. So the other thing I was going to say is that the Ben Gonna Guess news, I thought I wasn't necessarily going to get it because I have once again, start the clock, entered into a phase of stepping away from online stuff. Let me tell you what I'm doing, Ben.
Sounds healthy.
This is my current sanitation, if you will. Number one, I took Reddit off my phone. I took YouTube off my phone. Because what I've noticed is that's what either I'm working or after I'm done working, I'm either scrolling Reddit or watching YouTube. And that's it. I'm not doing anything else. So I was like, okay, well, that's bad. So I took that off. Now, I do still have YouTube on my TV. So if I am doing my TV time, I can watch YouTube as part of that. So that's kind of okay. So that's number one. Number two, and this one is one that I highly encourage you to attempt as well. I am not using my phone when I am in motion. Now, as a passenger in a car, that's different. If I'm, or on public transportation or whatever. But I might actually expand to that. Right now, it's just when I'm walking around the house, whatever. When I'm walking, I'm not looking at my phone.
I have something to say about that.
It was much harder than I thought, and not because it's like, oh, I have to put my phone down, but because I just don't think of it. I'm just walking around and I've got, so. But it's a conscious effort now. Whenever I stand up, I put my phone in my pocket. I don't look at it. Now, I can still, because I, do have attention things, whatever, I can still listen to podcasts while I'm walking around.
That's legit. That's fair.
But I can't do what I used to do, which was watch people who have video podcasts.
Yeah.
Watch them as they're talking.
So note to our listeners, if you're walking around watching us, put us down. Put us on audio only. I don't have that issue. I'm the kind of person where because I walk a lot. I walk 3 miles a day to and from work. And I don't...
Wait. 3 miles a day.
A mile and a half here, a mile and a half home.
Okay, that's why I wasn't sure if you meant 6 miles.
No. That's a lot. I'm the kind of person who, if I need to text while I'm walking, I will stop and stand out of the way of the moving people. Because, and I'll tell you why I do this, not just because that's like how I am, but I've gotten to the point now where if somebody is walking towards me and they're looking at their phone, I don't get out of the way.
Wow.
I let them run into me. I don't clear my throat. I don't say anything. I'm just like, you should have been watching where you were going, dude. And it's always a dude.
Any physical contact whatsoever, Ben.
I usually put my arms up like this and like give him a little bounce. I don't do that. I'll tell you what though, I have never actually run it. Nobody's ever hit me. Like there's been no physical contact. They always look up right at the last minute. And then, I enter their peripheral vision through the top of their eyesight, and they're like, "Oh!" and then they get out of the way. But there have been some close calls.
Now, one thing a story that I've told many times before. I was walking from downtown to Capitol Hill. Oh, this will be interesting. Ben,
Paul.
see if you know which street I was on from my description.
It's going to be a Pike or Pine question, isn't it?
because I'm not positive.
Okay.
Right? So I'm walking, and I'm on an overpass. I'm walking, and I'm on an overpass.
You're coming from downtown, going to Capitol Hill.
From downtown to Capitol Hill.
Okay.
And I am looking. This is before cell phones, or before iPhones, because we didn't really stare at our cell phones, right? We looked at them,
yeah,
but we didn't stare at them while we were walking. So I have my cell phone, and no, well, I do have my cell phone, but this is not the point. I'm walking to Capitol Hill from downtown. And I'm looking at the cars as they are going under the overpass. And I hit a metal light pole so hard, it makes a spang sound, and I fall down.
Oh, no.
A woman walks up to me and says, "Are you okay?" I woozily sit up and say, "No." And then she leaves. And that's the story.
From
that, do you know which one it was?
Let me ask you this. Were you looking over your right shoulder or your left shoulder?
So I'm walking.
You're walking?
I'm on the right side of the street.
Okay.
I am looking down to the right.
I don't know. I'm thinking this is the overpass at Pine and Boren. At Pine and Boren, the intersection is actually the overpass. It's kind of weird. It's not just a bridge, it's like a full intersection. And so if you're walking up Pine Street, what's now like the Paramount will be on your right.
Oh, okay.
The new convention center's on your left.
So the cars are going this way. The cars that I'm looking at, they're going this way.
Underneath
me.
So from your right to your left, like they're coming towards you from the right-hand side.
No, they're coming at me from the left-hand side.
Coming at you from the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Okay. But you said you were on the right-hand side of the street?
Okay. So this is me.
This is
my right hand.
Yeah.
This is my left hand. It's on an angle. The thing I'm walking at is on an angle. I'm seeing cars going like this. They're coming from under here, going
from your
there.
left.
So they're coming from my left, going the right way, and I'm looking at them this way.
Down your left-hand side, or down your right-hand side.
Yeah, and they're traveling this way. Now there might be ones coming this way as well, but the place where it happens.
I'm gonna say it's that intersection of it's you. I'm gonna say you were on Pine Street, just past Boren, the intersection of Boren.
So I know. Okay, so I don't know which of the streets I'm on, but I can tell you this, right? And I think the landmarks I'm going to give you, I think are Pine landmarks, but I'm not positive. You know the circle apartment building, the round cylindrical apartment building, 800. Is it 800 or something?
808 maybe.
Yeah, so that one though.
Yeah.
I passed that.
Okay.
I have not yet reached Bauhaus.
Yeah, so that's an old reference. Bauhaus is no longer there.
Yeah. But it was there when I was...
Yeah, that's Pine Street.
Well, those are Pine Street landmarks.
Yeah. So you've passed the circular apartment building, and you're not quite at Bauhaus. So in that section is You know, that's you have the Paramount Theater, you have the convention center, and then further up the street, you have like there's just random small. There it used to be a pho restaurant, but now it's going to be a Voodoo Donut, which I'm very excited about. Yeah, I know exactly where
Oh,
you are.
nice.
So yeah,
So okay, but in that space, even though those landmarks are on Pine, I might be on Pike, but it's still my so what I've given you, right? The Bauhaus and if you imagine that Bauhaus and 800 are the y-axis, right? So I'm on that axis. But the x-axis I could be over here on Pike or I could be over here on Pine. I don't know which street it is, if that makes sense.
no.
Like
Why would you be on Pike?
because Pike and Pine aren't they parallel?
Yeah, they are. But if you were you on the street of Bauhaus and the
See, this is what I said. This is what I'm saying. I don't know.
okay.
I know that where I am in space, as far as forward and backward goes, I know Bauhaus is in front of me, and
All right.
that other thing is behind me. But I don't know
Here's another question
if
for
it's
you.
over there,
If
right? Like, yeah.
was it an overpass or was it like was there a freeway on one side of you and building where the freeway should be? Because on Pike Street, that's where the freeway goes underneath the convention center. So there's only one side of the street where you can see the freeway.
Okay, well then it has to be Pine then, because I'm seeing the cars go underneath. In fact, what's on the right side of Pine?
The right side of Pine.
If I'm on Pine, I'm walking, and I see the cars going out. Right.
Yeah.
If I see the cars going under me, what am I looking at? Like when the cars are driving, what are they driving to or from? If that makes sense. When they go underneath,
When you're
right? There's more road. But is there another overpass?
Are you going right? Are the cars going underneath you, right to left?
Okay, so I'm
Spending
can you see me?
so much time on it. Yeah, but you're backward, so I can't like.
Okay, so this is. So this is my right hand.
Okay.
I am facing where Bauhaus would be.
Yeah.
Okay. And the cars are traveling underneath me this way.
From left to right.
From left to right. And I'm walking and I'm looking over the side at them as they're going from left to right. And what I'm wondering is if I were on Pine Street and I look up, right, the cars are going like this. What is above the cars? Is it another? Would it be another overpass? Would it be just straight?
If you're,
sky.
Yeah, there's nothing above Pine Street right there.
Okay.
The cars going from left to right underneath you are going south. So it tells me that you have yet to cross this. You have yet to cross Boren.
Okay. There we go. All right, that's good.
On my walk home, I'll see if there's actually a light post there and a Paul-shaped dent in it.
And look over on Pike as well, just in case.
Well, if you because further up Pine, there's an off-leash dog park to the right. If you look down at the freeway, there's an overpass to your left that's olive. So the cars going from right to left are going northbound, and they're getting off
on Pike.
No, you're still on Pine right now.
On Pine, I'm sorry, on Pine.
Yeah.
On Pine, there's a thing for olive.
There's another.
Okay, that might be where it is then.
Is it Olive?
Funny, I witnessed. No. I mean, I might be on Pine and thinking about.
Yeah.
I might have thought that I was on Pike because I could see something that I thought was Pine.
Yeah.
But maybe what I was looking at
Olive.
Pine, thinking of Olive.
Olive Streeter's right
Now is a good time to mention that here in the 21st century, it's right now it's Thursday, August 29th, 2024. We as a general collective believe that eyewitness testimony is
there.
very spotty because people have a hard time remembering stuff.
Yeah.
As seen in many different lawyer shows.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the movie 12 Angry Men sort of hit that home for me.
Exactly. So, speaking of home, did I mention that I looked in another place today?
You did not. Like on
Yeah.
online, I'm assuming.
So here's the thing. As you know, Jennifer and I went on a big trip and looked at a whole bunch of places in person. And we've decided that is no longer our strategy. Because of all the places that we looked, a lot of them we didn't like, and the ones that we put offers on, other people picked them up. So if it would break the bank, kind of going to Chicago every weekend, renting a hotel or whatever, and then going out to look at places. Yeah. So instead, our real estate agent is looking at them and FaceTiming us, and we're like looking at places.
Oh, okay. So you do have boots on the ground, as it were.
Yes, it's a different person, and we can ask them like, "How does it smell?" and that sort of thing.
Are there ninjas living in the crawl space?
Yes. Excuse me? Ninjas living in... Listen, I'm going to send you a video. It's going to make a lot more sense when you take a look. Oh, yeah. When Ben, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When is the... how long ago did we make it?
A long time ago. Oh, my God. Like 2008? 2009?
Because I'm thinking that at some point in time, we should do something that's the 20th anniversary of Ninja Exterminators.
Well, I'm going to be out there in about a month and a half.
Yeah. Oh, wait, 2000. Oh, so it could be the 15th anniversary.
I'm going to see if I can find it. That was one of our earlier ones.
We've talked about this before, but one of the best things about it was you putting the the words on the car.
Yeah. I posted Ninja Exterminators on our website on May 5th, 2006. So we
2006.
We have passed the 18th birthday of Ninja Exterminators.
That is crazy. I still have a soft spot in my heart for Ninja Exterminators. It's a dumb pun, but I love it.
I used to have a shirt. In fact, Rick Miller, I think, was the only other one who bought a shirt. I set up a cafe press store based on your design, and I wore that shirt out. Yeah, the logo. So I don't know what the kanji symbol was, if it is even is kanji, but it says Ninja Exterminators. I think the symbol is exterminator.
Oh no, Ben. I can't even imagine how I did it and figured it out, and oh boy.
It's like, you know what? You could go to the website, look at the symbol, and like use like a translator to find out what it actually means.
Oh my gosh, that's right. That's right, you can. And that technology did not exist at the time that this was created.
Nope. Actually, I wonder if I could do that now with my phone.
I bet you could. I mean, just use Google Lens.
Yeah, I'm gonna
or actually, in Google Translate, there's a camera option that you can use for it.
Here,
you open up Google Translate, you put in the camera, and you can do this for everything, Ben. Like a text of German, a full page, it'll translate it for you.
I've done it.
This episode of the GudeLaurance podcast brought to you by Google Translate. Google Translate. It's Google. It's Translate. What more do you need to know?
I haven't
Obviously, how to say that. I'm sorry.
I
Go ahead.
haven't used Google Translate, but I have used Apple's built-in translator.
Oh.
I'm watching the movie now. It was actually for the time and the technology that we had. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
There's that black and white bit at the very beginning. I came
Yeah.
back and we had to do some reshoots because I didn't like the original way that I shot it.
We mimed Betty
We
at one point.
we did mime Betty. That was the introduction of the safety cowboy. There it is. All right.
Well, the introduction of the safety cowboy, of course. Um, do you know how safety cowboy started?
How did safety cowboy start?
Rick Miller and I were helping a friend move, and he had a vest on and a hat, and he said, "I'm the safety cowboy." Or I had a vest on and a hat, and I said, "I'm the safety cowboy." Or he had a vest on and a hat, and I said, "Look, it's the safety cowboy." I don't know how exactly it worked. I don't know whose idea was whose, but I think it would. Here's the thing: knowing what I know about me and my ego, I think that he most likely was the one who put on the hat and the vest and said, "I'm the safety cowboy." Because if he wasn't the person who did that, I think that I would have insisted on being the safety cowboy. And the only thing that would have kept me from doing it was the fact that it was, in fact, his idea. And if it wasn't, I'll eat my hat.
So I just used Apple's
Yeah,
installed translator app from Japanese to English, and guess what the word is? The symbol used in the logo of Ninja Exterminators. Guess what it guess what it means?
Exterminator?
Ninja.
Oh.
So
Well, there you
technically,
go.
the logo says Ninja Exterminators.
And, well, it's funny. We could say that that's an inside joke because Rick Miller also played the ninjas.
And once you see one in your living room, there's a dozen more in your crawl space.
Yeah. I feel like, here's the thing. I think that if we had come up with Ninja Exterminators now, I would be like, maybe let's not do it. Because this was still at a time when, the I'm not saying the cultural appropriation was ever cool, but it was a time when it was not thought of by
No.
me as much as it is now.
We had no qualms putting a white-skinned, red-haired man in a fake ninja suit. But there's also you remember I don't know if you remember this old YouTube show called Ask a Ninja.
No, I don't.
It was
I
also
do remember The Master, starring Lee Van Cleef as a ninja, though.
So the thing is, the Ask a Ninja guy and our own Rick Miller weren't pretending to be Japanese. They were only pretending to be ninjas.
Which is a more of an occupation at the time.
It's
than
we're not talking yellowface by any stretch of the imagination.
Now, we should also say, Almost Live. This is one sort of gripe I have with Almost Live, but it's very small, and maybe I'm wrong.
Be Like Billy.
Maybe I'm wrong. Be Like Billy, right?
Yeah.
This is the thing. Be Like Billy had an Asian guy as Billy. Was he in any of the other sketches? Was he a member of the group?
He worked at King 5. He wasn't an actor.
Okay.
He was on staff there. So yeah.
That's at least a little bit better.
He was like a camera like a news cameraman.
Okay. All right. Still but and the reason again, I come back to this all the time. And I think part of it also is that and because I always bring it back to us and how, I wish we had done better in our past. How it is GudeLaurance, the two of us doing stuff, not a corporation, not a group. But if we had, if you and I, instead of being GudeLaurance, had started the OK Sketch Guys or whatever, and then, hey, why don't we make these people part of the group? I think would have been more like in my mind of, oh yeah, okay. But I think that because it was you and me, the idea of making other people member of the group didn't make sense because it was you and me as a double act,
Right.
as they say in Great Britain.
Yeah.
But still,
And
Rick Miller did help us out a lot.
we've
Pamela Miatov,
talked at length about this, about how we sort of like
Mike Pham.
unconsciously but sometimes outwardly resisted incorporating other people into the duo.
I mean, part of it was we did want variety. We didn't want to use the same people over and over again. Now, what the motivation for that is, maybe in question, but
there's also a dynamic. I'm not saying this would have happened with us, but there's definitely a dynamic that shifts when you have three people, because you could have two people ganging up on the third, or overruling somebody.
Whereas with us, it really is like, oh, I'm trying to. Hey, let's start a fight with each other.
Ben, just let Paul do whatever he wants.
No. This is what I'm wondering. Was there ever a time when we did something that the other person just didn't want to do? I'm thinking about, like, there were times when we made edits where we're like, hey, just realized this thing that we're doing probably not cool.
Yeah.
I don't think there was ever a time when that was said and the other one of us went, no, we have to do it this way. I don't think that happened.
There was never any tension, but there was always a little push and pull in terms of like memorization or or effort.
We really did, like, we settled into a place where we kind of knew, all right, memorizing a huge monologue isn't probably going to happen.
Right.
So let's not do that. Although there were times when we did sort of, I'm not going to say stunts necessarily, but we did do stuff that was outside of our normal wheelhouse. We liked video because you could do video and then just show up and play the video and be like, we did a thing. It was
nice not having to have that stress about like performing.
And also, especially, I mean, definitely not to put anyone down, because we had excellent people running Spin the Bottle, but they were running oftentimes really complicated cues for other people.
Right.
And so if we had something that was going to be complicated, we often said to ourselves, is there a way we can do this on video? Because then all that has to happen is the video just needs to play.
Yeah.
And we don't. So I do think that there were a couple of times, I'm almost positive, I almost remember having this conversation, where we're pitching an idea and one of us would say, I think that would work better as a video. Where we took an idea that we were thinking about maybe doing on stage and doing it on a video instead.
Yeah, it might have been one of those things where it's like, doing this on stage would require rehearsal, memorization, other people.
Other people to be there on the night.
On the night, yeah.
And it was a late night, so sometimes there were people that didn't want to do it.
But back in those days, but it was a very different culture back then. Back in the early 2000s, getting people, and it what's the, and I don't want to say it's because we were all younger. Like the ages still shift, right? But it's hard to get the 20-year-olds these days to show up for a late night. It just doesn't happen anymore.
I will say that the oatmeal sketch, one of the first things that wasn't really GudeLaurance.
Before we were
It wasn't
officially.
under the moniker, but it really
Right.
was. It really. I mean, this is one of the reasons why we formed, was like Ben was doing like half of the stuff already.
Yeah.
Like even then, I was pushing work off on you, going, "Hey Ben, could you do?" So, but I think that oatmeal thing would have worked better as a full video. If we were to do it again now, if we were going to do it again now, because we could do stuff that we wouldn't even have thought of at the time, like matching the shots and doing, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But there is some fun with the live chaos that happens.
Yeah, and there was also like oatmeal all over the floor, which I'm sure McCandless appreciated having to sweep up.
Yeah. Oh man, there is something about that figure of Stephen McCandless shaking his head and cleaning stuff up that just is a nice button on the.
One of my favorite moments of that was actually captured on film by the Seattle channel was after Blood, and Steven is dragging, I think he's dragging you off, and I think Mike Fom dragged me off stage.
Yeah.
And there's a shot of Steven just kind of like hunched over, just like, what are you gonna do? This is art, this is theater, just dragging you off stage.
Yeah.
Your dead carcass.
It is
nice. After the shootout, not Blood. After the shootout,
okay.
That was the name of the performance.
I was gonna say Blood.
That was the song.
Was actually based on a dream that I had. Sometimes we have sketches where I say it's based on a dream, but that one actually was. And pretty nice. So yeah, the basic my hygiene right now. I'm not using any AI things. I'm avoiding YouTube, avoiding Reddit. I'm still on my Discord, but I mean, part of the thing is that I really feel as though now I'm not going to speak badly about AI
because it will find out.
I think it's a force of nature. It's just a thing that's going to happen. I'm not worried about it. The ethical training of it, again, for what it's being used for and all the rules around it, we're still in pre-sample times where people are making songs with samples of popular music and nobody's getting.
Right.
They mentioned, I think it was
Paul's Boutique era of AI.
Right, Paul's Boutique. That we definitely are, and the thing is that I'm just gonna not even worry about it until there's some like strong rules in place where I can go, I'm following the rules, so I'm an okay guy.
Some framework,
that sort of thing.
An ethical framework.
But I will say that we are. I want to say we. I mean, like
humanity as a whole.
You and I are not deep in that culture, right? We're on the edges of it.
Correct.
Right? For a little while, I was a little more into it.
You're deeper than I am, even if you've pulled away a little bit. I've never really messed with it aside from automation tools.
The thing that I've noticed about it is that the people who do it and do it well spend a lot of work. Yeah, exactly. So they spend a lot of work, and what their work is mostly is generating things over and over and over and over again until they get the thing that they want.
Yeah.
Or a thing that kind of works. And most of the stuff that I've seen, requires skills like you have, right? Because you generate a song, right? And you generate a video clip, and you generate, I really don't like the people that are using the text-to-speech stuff. Because text-to-speech, it doesn't get the inflections right on stuff. It just sounds weird. That's going to get better. eventually. Um,
Speaking of YouTube, yeah, I've
yeah,
seen a number of YouTube videos where like I have to bounce because I can tell it's an AI generated voice.
yeah, and it's here's a very interesting thing that someone did. So a man in Germany once decided that he was going to go to the shopping mall. When he did, he was surprised to see that the man at the shopping mall had already got, that sort of
It's
thing where you're like, okay,
also like it's AI voices reading a Wikipedia page, you know?
yeah, exactly. They're going to see that eventually. That's going to lowest common denominator. It's going to burn off, and there's going to be stuff that's cool that people are doing. I've already seen some stuff that I thought was cool that people were doing. Um, and it's basically they're using a mid journey to make incredible images. Like when I say incredible, I just mean like things that a camera can't replicate, right?
Right.
Like insane things that
Or a painter.
prosthetics and stuff like that just aren't up to that. And then they animate them using a image to video thing, and they run it a bunch of times until it looks good, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I've seen some like that. They're gonna get better.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I was thinking about it. These people still have the same skills. They're taking clips, they're putting music behind them, they're doing the basic grunt work, right? The AI can't make a real video clip yet. What they're doing, and Ben, this is what I came up with. I couldn't wait to talk to you because I had forgotten about it until right now.
And in the
What they're
final
doing is
6 minutes.
they're not making. Oh no, Ben, we've got 13 more minutes.
Oh, you didn't start until like 5 minutes
Start
late.
until 5 minutes late. So they aren't making videos. What they're doing is they're generating assets. And this is the thing: is that you, Ben Lawrence, can go out and can I pry? Can I pry just a little bit?
You can
Do you
try.
have a subscription to some sort of a video house or whatever that has sound clips and has
Oh yeah,
video clips
a
and,
number of them.
and stuff? How does it work? Is it a monthly fee? Is it a yearly? How do you get the access to it?
It's a. I can't remember because I don't really pay attention. It's a. One's a monthly fee. One's per asset.
Okay. And you have like credits and you
Yeah.
for the per asset. Like do you have to do a transaction every time or do you
No. It. Like
yeah.
I'll be specific. It's Shutterstock, and if you can buy 5 credits at a time,
Yeah.
and
So you just buy a bunch of credits
and then
when
when
you
you're
have time and then
done, it auto reloads, and so your bank account gets pinged for an extra like $50.
so at least for right now, I think that's probably the model that's going to happen. Eventually, once all this stuff becomes legal, because it will eventually, it's just gonna be the Shutterstock model.
Yeah.
Only you're not gonna search for things. You're gonna input your parameters, and it's gonna make the clip for you. And then you download it.
That'll be an interesting way to find an interesting model to see how it works, because like it takes me a while to search through stock footage or stock images to find exactly what I want, right? But if I'm no good at prompt engineering, and it takes me like 20 or 30 cycles to finally get it to make me what I need, do I pay per cycle or do I only pay for what I download?
I think you only pay for what you download, personally. I think and what's going to happen is you're going to get thumbnails of the thing, right? And then you download the full asset, which is 4K or whatever. Here's my thought though. If things work the way that I think they should, quote unquote, I mean, eventually what's going to happen is eventually the AI is going to get smart enough. There will be a new AI product out there that will do the whole thing. It'll do everything you want. Right now, it's just generating assets. Eventually, it'll do the whole thing you want.
Yeah.
But what I think will happen, and Shutterstock specifically, is that you'll be able to pick from the Shutterstock things, right? You'll be able to pick them, or you click the ones that are kind of like the ones you want, and then you type in the difference, and then it will create one not only based off of what you've said, but off the clips that you like. Make me something like this that looks like, that looks like these things.
Probably have access as well to all the other stuff that everybody else has asked for too. So, like, let's say you want something that somebody else has already made. Like, would that be available? Let's say somebody else, like, I want Ronald McDonald driving a Lamborghini off of a cliff with Daniel Radcliffe's face on it, right? And what if I want that exact same thing? Will it generate?
The Lamborghini has his face stretched over it at first, at least when you.
Yeah, whatever. I saw a meme: Daniel Radcliffe, Daniel Boringcliff, whatever. It was in my head.
Oh, okay. So here's what I think. Do you want to pay extra to make this clip exclusive to you, or will you pay less and have it be open?
Oh no, then we're getting into NFTs.
If I were Shutterstock, absolutely. You want this to be exclusive? Great. Pay me 10 instead of 5.
Yeah. Otherwise, anybody else can use this. Which is like at Shutterstock or Getty Images or anything, everybody has access to everything, right? So the nice thing about Shutterstock is when I go and I'm looking for an asset, it'll tell me, oh yeah, this is pretty popular. You might find this elsewhere if you're looking for something like unique for your own thing.
So here's what I think is happening. Getty famously, said, has been against AI stuff, right? I don't know what Shutterstock has said. Maybe the same thing. What they're doing is they're sitting back, they're waiting until the laws are in place. Once the laws are in place, whatever they are, then they will offer products based off of.
But I'm sure in the meantime, they are in mad development.
Yeah. Adobe has already gotten their thing that's trained ethically, and it looks okay.
They've already implemented into their popular software tools image generation, text to image boxes. I haven't used it yet, but like in Illustrator, it'll be like, do you want a helicopter? Type in helicopter, and we'll make you a helicopter.
Right, like get rid of this background, put this background in instead, etc., etc. It's all gonna be fine. I've mentioned this before, but there's a very slim, but still existing group of people that are affected right now. It's digital artists who do digital art on commission. I saw something the other day that just made me insane, which was somebody posted a thing saying, need AI help, ! I need a turtle with a volcano on its back. Best image, I'll Venmo you $10.
Yeah.
So, because here's the thing, right? The whole idea, the whole problem, other than, the ethics of training the data set or training off of data sets that contain images that
license imagery.
Yeah. And we talked about this already. The problem is data sets at first were for academic purposes, which fair use has, says that you can use if you're using it for academic purposes. Those same data sets all of a sudden moved into the commercial realm, but were not sanitized. So, ethically problematic. Now, so that's one problem. That's a problem. Boom. Problem here through the poison tree. Oh, can't use it. Gross. Whatever. People don't like it. The different thing is I'm a digital artist. People pay me to make digital art for them. Now they can just type in a prompt and it makes the digital art for them. I no longer get paid. This is bad. Different argument, right? People will say, well, that didn't stop Ford from laying off auto workers, whatever, any of that stuff. Sure, okay, fine. Hey, I can't draw this. Can you guys type a prompt into an AI image generator for me, and I'll give you $10 if I like it? Is like it's like all the evil with none of the benefit. Why not just say, hey, if somebody wants to draw me a turtle with a volcano on its back, I'll pay them 10. Why do they have to use the AI tool? Don't get it. Seems weird.
Because
I think trolling.
It might be trolling. It might also be like if you're asking somebody to actually draw this or actually Photoshop it, it's worth more than $10.
Well, that's what you do. You say $10, and then you get what you get, right?
Yeah.
I know
$10 drawing of a volcano on a turtle's back.
What I mean by that is this, right? You say, hey, you don't say I need AI help. You say this: I need a drawing with a turtle of a turtle with a volcano on its back. We'll pay $10, and you don't mention AI at all. And then people use AI if they want to, or they draw it if they want to. Anyone who's willing to do an image for the potential of getting $10. That's the other thing.
There's no guarantee.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that he'll give you the money. There's no guarantee that he won't just steal whatever thing you give him.
I hate that too. I've seen posts like that on Reddit where people have asked for content like that.
This is what I'm saying. The digital realm of digital images is not where you want to be if you actually want to make a living doing stuff. If you want to make a living doing art stuff, what you need to do is be a painter who is somewhat famous.
Easy as that.
No, but here's what I mean. My biological dad is a painter.
Kevin.
He sells paintings. That is how he makes his money, selling paintings. And
good for him.
They can sell for a lot. They can sell for what? There is not, at least at this point, an AI that will create a painting, a physical painting. It'll create. You could maybe make prints off of your AI generated image, but it's not a painting. And the people who are paying for paintings aren't paying for digital images.
You don't think there's some sort of articulated robot arm that isn't painting yet?
Now look, if I were a person who buys paintings, and the story of this was made with an articulated robot arm, right?
Based on an AI generated image.
If that's the kind of thing that I like, I'm going to pay money for that. Right? If I don't like saying that, I'm not going to. Saying, oh yeah, this is by this guy who people have heard of, and like, oh, that's a real one of those, you're going to do a lot better. But the digital, this is, and
got to get there first.
I'm bringing this all the way back to what I'm hoping happens, which is that as AI, what Ben, this is going to be a Ben going to guess the news. What is the term that people use for AI generated image that looks like every other kind of AI generated image?
Oh crap! I have no idea.
They call it slop.
Slop. Okay.
They call it AI slop, like you would feed a pig, just throw stuff in. And part of the reason why they say this is that somebody. Here's what they do: they type in a prompt, they generate 20 images, and they post all of them at the same time. One right after another in a thread going, hey, look at what I just did. And everyone's like,
it's
I hate this.
Spam.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's the same sort of thing. It's people who have learned to generate images but haven't learned any of the other things, which is, for instance, maybe pick the best one and post that one.
Right.
And that sort of thing. So the basic thing is that at some point in time, it's going to be just like anything else. You had the record player. Record player came out, and people were like, no one's going to hire bands to play anymore because they can just record the music and play it. Then people started getting royalties. At first, when you were playing a record that somebody had recorded, they didn't get any royalties from the airplay. That didn't happen. So eventually that came. And people find a way to get paid.
Takes a while for the capitalism to catch up to the art.
Yeah, but it does. And people are going. I feel like I don't want to we're almost out of time, but I do want to say this. What I hope doesn't happen, what some people are gunning for, or some people want, is the ability to copyright their style, their artistic style, to
Yeah,
copyright that. So if somebody generates something in that style, then they,
that's
the
ridiculous.
problem, what I'm very afraid of then, is that if you do that, you start thinking about the evolution of style. What's the tolerance? How far back do you go? All of us are going to start owing money to people in the 1980s or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I can thinking about it, I can sort of see it because if you have a very specific style, like there's a mural artist in town named Henry, right? Henry has a very specific type of style. So if
Right.
somebody starts doing other murals in town that copy Henry style and say, let's say they call him Frank's,
Yeah.
I can see where Henry will get a little miffed. But in terms of like AI art, I've never seen AI art have a specific aesthetic aside from this is
Oh,
AI.
well, here's the thing then. And this is important. There used to be a time where you would prompt AI with statements like, "I want, I want a picture of a cat drawn like Pablo Picasso," and you would get a Picasso-looking cat.
Right.
And the problem is that modern artists, and when I say modern art, it's not just modern art, the style, but people of this day and age who are out there still drawing would have people train and prompt on their style. So I want something that looks like, I'm trying to think of somebody that you would know. Um, hmm, hmm. Matt Gehring. I want something that looks like Matt Gehring, and that would come up with a picture that looked like Matt Gehring drew it. And that's what they're saying. They're saying we don't want this,
Yeah.
which is good. I get it, right? It's good that you don't want that to happen. When I say good, I don't necessarily mean um, that it won't cause a whole bunch of problems, because it will. But I just mean morally, the idea is that you don't want someone to be able, someone took a while to make their own style, and they don't want someone else coming around making something that looks just like their thing by typing a few things in. I get it. But the problem is that that's your thing that you worked on, that you did, you have to keep in mind that there are a whole bunch of artists who do something that looks kind of like yours, and some of them started before you. So how does that work,
Because,
right?
there's many people are influenced by the same thing and interpret it in their own way, but, perhaps you can still see that influence. And it's going to be one of those things where it's like this train has left the station and you cannot stop it. And if you're a visual artist and for whatever reason your art has been used in a data set to train AI, how is there going to be a way to say stop doing this, or is it going to be analogous to trying to take a picture off the internet?
Now, here's the thing: is what you would do is you would sanitize the model, right? You'd take out, you'd say this is everything that we trained on. Um, do you? But the problem is that once it trained, here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, and I know that you know this.
Can you make AI
I
forget?
you train on an image, right? But that image is not in your database. It's an image that it trained on.
Yeah.
So what you'd have to do is get rid of the entire model, right? Boom, that model's gone now. You have a new data set of sanitized data that is, that you have copyright to train on. And this is new. This is the idea that, because right now there's still an argument about whether or not training data can be copyrighted. So we just say that there is something that passes that you can't train without paying a royalty to the holder. So what happens is all the artists that submitted stuff to Disney, and Disney said we own your stuff if you submit it to us, right? All of a
Yeah.
sudden now everybody trains off of that. There's a thing, I know, a commercial that I did for Microsoft, I think also, funnily enough, where not only did they have me read for the commercial, but they also had me do a whole bunch of faces, angry, sad, whatever. And I signed a thing saying that they could use this for promotional materials or, you know, whatever,
In perpetuity.
in perpetuity. So I'm, you know, they're going to be able to train off me, and that's one thing. But let's take it really quick. I know that we're over time. Let's take it to music for just a second. Ben, when I'm describing an artist to you, a new artist, I might say something like this. They're kind of like Tool meets Nirvana,
Yeah.
right? And you can get an idea about what that is. If I can describe a new band saying they're kind of like Tool meets Nirvana, and style is copyrighted, Tool and Nirvana can say, okay, this band is using our style. And so you're going to have to establish thresholds.
But then you
How
say,
much
well,
of a percentage?
Tool is also using the style of Megadeth, and Nirvana is using the style of the Pixies. You know, how far
Right.
back does that go?
Exactly. And this is what I'm saying. We're going to owe money to people in the 70s at whatever the length of that copyright is. Anyone that far back is going to say, "Hey, you know, you took my style." You know, which is why they're very clear about derivative works and making sure that the copyright is only on that piece of, you know, so it would be a question of Nevermind has a song on it with a chord structure that is and a hook and lyrics that are similar to this guy, and so now you have a lawsuit.
Yep.
As opposed to these guys sound like Nirvana, so we're going to sue them. You can't do that. But you might open the door for that if you say that this is the problem. Anything that people put into place to stop AI might get turned around and used on real people. This is the thing that I think people aren't thinking about. So whatever happens,
Once you
law
open
is
that
going to
door,
happen.
yeah.
The laws come into play, and then all the companies that right now are making money because they have all the stock images are going to start making AI versions of those stock images, and I think that's where we're going to end up. You heard it here first, or you heard it here first, like several months ago when I gave the exact same rant, possibly. But yeah, August 29th, 2024. I am Paul Goody. That is Ben Lawrence, and you have been listening to the GudeLaurance podcast. And until next week, I ask you to please keep it wrong.
Keep it wrong, Paul. How's it happening? And
How's
whatever
it happening?
the random response to that call is, we shall never know. But
Search the audio, find it.